Probably backwards. Maybe it's not. I don't know. It says all cats are bastards. They are. Like, we're experiencing the COVID-19 pandemic, and I put up on my YouTube, not my YouTube, sorry, on my Instagram, if anybody would like me to do any talks or workshops or whatever. And people said yes, and I said, cool, what about? And productivity and creativity came up. So I'm going to do a bit of a combined ramble about the two of these things. I mean, white cup, marker. The writing's on the cup. Creativity. So, like, yeah, creativity and productivity. So, firstly, for anybody watching this that doesn't know who I am, I'm Saturn. Hi. And I have been told that I'm definitely one of the hardest workers, productive people that anybody ever has met. It's like, it's not untrue. I'm a really hard worker. I'm very diverse, and there's reasons for that. It's like, I also, like, I need to keep going, and I fuel myself by doing so, and it keeps me sane. The whole kind of idle hands and all of that stuff, it kind of, it's not, I need to be doing stuff. It helps in here. Plus, YOLO. And all cats are bastards. Like, I mean, right now, I don't have internet. I don't have data on my phone. I have a couple of things around me to keep me occupied and entertained, but I don't have the easy opt-out like Netflix or anything like that. So I've actually been more productive than I've ever been. No, that's kind of a fib. I'm productive all the time. Like I said, I need it to tick over. It's like, some people are this way and some people just aren't. And in saying that, it's like, everybody is different. So firstly, I'm not speaking for everybody. I'm speaking for myself, and I'm hoping that this will help influence others in some shape or form, or maybe I might understand my own madness a little bit more. Like, I don't sleep much and I like doing things. Some people just don't enjoy doing that, but I kind of believe they're in a bit of a rut, or they haven't found their thing or outlet yet, because the world is a fucking fantastic, fascinating place, and there's something out there that keeps everybody ticked over. And like, you can be involved in the things that tick you over. You just have to go and do them. So, like, right now, in the past couple of days, I'm drawing pictures, I'm painting, I'm making music, I'm doing these videos, I'm fixing up these artist studios. What else? I'm writing a novel, like something that I've been wanting to do for a while, and I sat down over the course of like 2 days, when the first point of, like, there was like the first 2 days when I had no internet access, and 11,000 words spewed out of me. Now, I've sent it to less than one hand fist of people, and 2 reports back, and about pretty good. I got like, witty was one of the things in there, which I was kind of going for, and some other insight. Like, I'm not avoiding it. I don't want to. I'd like you all to read it at one point. I'm not going to put more into your mouth, but like, it's meant to be a bit humorous for sure. So like, there you go. I'm achieving. So, but yeah, like, okay. So today I woke up. I have RA. I see. This is the thing. The creativity in doing stuff stops me from feeling shit. A lot of people think that it's like, they don't want to do stuff and they'd rather just like slouch around. It's like, but getting over that hump gets you out of that like mindset and gets your brain active and the juices flowing and doing all these other things. So RA is rheumatoid arthritis, head to toe and bones, in effect, and it's shit. It's been really bad the last couple of days, and like this is also the other thing. I have had on and off mental health issues. I've also had chronic pain for the last like good to 10 years. But doing things distracts me from these things. Like I was at a point where like after an accident where they're like, you're probably, we don't like, first of all, I died. They brought me back from the dead. And like I had to learn to walk again, all this other stuff. Like it was crazy. So like, but doing things kept me motivated, kept the pain down, kept me focused. And that's been a motivator for me. But like the whole thing is, it's like, what else would you be doing? Like you kind of like don't like wake up and smell the roses, like, you know what I mean? And there's another thing, like a rose is 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 a rose. Like what came first, the rose or the creativity? You know, everybody can be creative, everybody can be productive. We really can, no matter what your background or issue. Like, so today, for example, I was feeling shit, but I just wanted to do something. It's like, I'll throw on a podcast. Like, I can just sit here, pet the cat, and listen to this podcast, or I can do some doodles. I was like, I got a Tank Girl coloring book page thing, digital. I was like, I'm just going to do that. And then I was drawing, and I was like, oh, like, am I doing this now? It's just like, could I be doing something better with my time? And it's like, voila, let's get the left hand going. So I drew the fucking thing with my left hand. I've done all of the outline, and it's in one of my other videos. I'll link it in below. And that is, that kind of got me motivated for the day. I was like, and I did that for a while, made some food. And then the podcasts in particular that I was listening to were very motivational. And now I just clocked out like an hour-long request for the vlog, my vlog, which was the music that shaped me. And I did 2 videos before that. And it's like, that's a really productive day. Considering, like, all things considered. Here I am making another video, and like, who knows, it's only like tipping 10 p.m. I also slept in quite late. My sleep has been shit, but I work into the night. I'll do more stuff, you know what I mean? So like, I'm also lucky in that regard is at the moment, like, I'm renovating up this joint. It's gonna have other artists here, and the whole point is that people can be creative throughout the whole night. Not everybody is also in those parameters. Like, but I've always been a night owl. That's like when my creativity can breathe. So for me, my theory on this is the more the world is at rest, the more space my thoughts and creativity have to breathe. So that's why at nighttime it works, because most people are asleep and they're leaving this realm and their conscious is off in the other dream realm. And this gives my conscious and thoughts and everything more space to breathe, It's like there's frequencies that are in the air. We can feel them. You go into the city, there's a lot of people. It's like, like you get off into the mountains and the wilderness or the beach, and there's like, it's just like you feel it. So like, don't be bullshitting me if you're like, oh, you're talking a load of shit. You've all been there. You've been to like places where there's a lack of people, and you can just take a big deep breath. That's like what my brain is like during the middle of the night. So yeah, it's different strokes for different folks, but and you gotta like, you just gotta like give yourself that little kick up the ass. Like, it's like, what came first, the rose or the creativity? You hand somebody a rose, like, make something to do with that rose. It's like, they're not creating the rose, but they can create a poem like, roses are red, violets are blue, look, there's a start, how about you? Ugh. Like, that was a terrible poem. Do not hold me to that. Like, how about your creativity? You know what I mean? Take a rose. Just start there. Give yourself a bit of a kickstart, On that note, I think as well, like for me, when I write words in particular, they just come to me. It's like start to finish, and you know, I have something, because it's like that emotion or feeling or something, and I fucking jolt it out. Other people, like, there's sometimes I'll sit down to try and write something about something, and I just can't do it. Nada. Not a hope. Doesn't matter. It's like crazy ass writer's block. And in this moment, what I'm being saying is, like, all those things I'm doing, I'm in a fortunate position that it's all accessible right now. I'm like, I can jump pretty much from one thing to the other and just kind of do it. So it's like, if I'm not like, I mean, there's some books over there I have from the library that is outside of listening to podcasts, or like the doodling with my left hand, but still, that's still doing something else or feeding my brain some more. But yeah, I guess with the creativity, like, different people function in different ways. Sometimes, like, ideas spark and you go, sometimes you can sit down. My thing is just try it all. It comes in waves. Like, sometimes you just gotta work at it. Like, again, the novel that I'm trying to write, that was one of the first things I did, and I haven't touched it since. But I've been, like, writing songs, I've been coloring with my left hand, I've been making these videos, I've been, like, I have a notebook full of other notes of creative shit I had to do. In fairness, I did fix a lot of this place up, but I haven't gotten back to the novel. And as much as I love writing it, it's like, there's a weird thing in me. It's like, oh, I don't know, I have to write. I'm just like, it's a weird motion in the ocean, and it's not something I've sat down to do before. And although I enjoy it, it's the weird kickstart, but you just gotta fucking, like, and here's me unable to take my own advice sometimes, like right now. So maybe this is me, and I'm gonna, like, pay attention to myself, and after this video section thing of my creativity today, I should write some words. And it's easy to come up with an excuse. Oh, you can just do it tomorrow. Or why don't you just go do that other thing that you've been working on? Or do this instead, like, and you know what? One thing I will say is, if you have the access to go and just do something creative, and that fire is being lit, whether it's like voluntarily or in, like, or just like out of the air, like, follow it, like, just do it. You know, there's one reason why I've stayed so motivated is because, like, I'm happy to do the things that keep me up at night. And so, like, if something is, like, on your brain all day, every day, or multiple things, like, there are things worth pursuing. Like, you know, and I'm talking about creative endeavors here. You know, if there's something, and it can mix with a career, or like with your job in some sense as well, or it can just be completely abstract and nothing to do with either of those. Like, now, during this time of pandemic and isolation, is the absolute perfect time to fucking pull the finger out. Like, one thing I have to do myself, Ableton. I've been the one given post-it note that's, like, fucking lingered around me for the past while is like, get to Ableton, do Ableton, blah 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 blah. And it's like, now is a better time than ever. There's no reason to be bored right now. You are possibly at home, and whether you are afraid of the lack of work or losing your job or whatever, guess what? At this moment in time, you have no choice in the matter. So why don't you just take it upon yourself to get in touch with an old hobby, start a new hobby, do that thing that you've always been wanting to do, pick up an instrument. Like, there's a bazillion things out there that you could be doing. There's so much free education, so much, like, in fairness, the world is actually giving back in such a great way, and so much stuff has become online for free as well. Now is the perfect time to do things. You're not meant to be leaving your house. Just get stuck into things in your house. Like, I'm a very social creature. I have banished myself to the mountains for a while now, and I'm kind of getting used to this. I had pneumonia with a relapse for over a month, pretty much before this pandemic and lockdown kicked in, or at least into fuller swing. Blah, it's gone cold. Blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so I was kind of used to it, and then it's like, oh, I've got lots more of this ahead, and it's like, you know what? It's not so bad. Like, we're just so. It's like, don't push the button. But now I want to push the button. Don't eat that chocolate as a kid. Don't eat sweets. They're bad for you. But now I want to eat the sweets. Like, we're not kids anymore. Like, yes, we're big kids, but do the big kid things. that's the beauty of it. Like, be the big kid. Like, go and do the things that are, like, you've been given an exemption from your adult life right now. Like, you've gotten a massive hall pass. Get out of, like, your job. Hopefully, like, this is definitely affecting a lot of people. I know the Irish government has been stepping up for a lot of us freelancers and events and artists and stuff like that, and they're like dishing out the social welfare with a here you go, ask questions later on attitude. I'm hoping that anybody listening to this is not affected that badly. For anybody that can help others, that's in a position, do. This is the time to get back in touch with your community. And I don't mean go touching people in your community. I mean going and supporting people. A lot of bands out there, a lot of fucking other types of creative artists and freelancers, like everything from like people in like sex workers, beauticians, everything. Like if you had a hair appointment that you would usually keep, like if you can, and you're normally used to paying like, you know, 50 quid for your hair, like do like once a month, and that date is coming up and this person's out of work, maybe just give it to them, or at least give them half of it or something. You're used to like spending it now. Your position could also be compromised. So I'm not speaking for everybody. Just be more aware and be kind and look out for one another. So back to where we were. Yeah, this is the perfect time to just get in touch with all of those things. Like, and hopefully when you start doing these things, like you'll keep up. It's like, I mean, okay, a common thing is, how many of you probably go to a gym or have gone to a gym at one point, and you know that once it gets past like 3 weeks, like the idea of missing a day in the gym is like hell. Like you do not want to miss it because you've worked so hard for it. Like, but you remember going to the gym at the very beginning? It was like, oh, it's like, it's tough. It's maybe like you've got anxiety about it, all these things, but then you get going and it feels good. Like that's general natural exercise. Like you're, by being creative and like being productive in that manner as well, like you're exercising your brain. Your brain's gonna feel good. You're gonna feel good. But like, fair enough, you might be like, you have something to show for going to the gym, hopefully your health. But if you're creative, like you have an output and an outlet, and then you have, hopefully with most forms, you have something either physical or even like verbally, like you have something to show for it. Like there's a content created or something. And like, you know what, even if you don't afterwards, even if you put like, and this goes for other people as well that are like further into their creativity and are accustomed to this, you can spend days, weeks, months, like, or even just hours doing something, and like if it goes to shit, like be happy with yourself that like at least you did it. Like, you know what I mean? It's like fair enough, it's like it's not the result you wanted or whatever, but like you like should still be really proud of yourself because you fucking tried to get there, you tried to do it. So many people just like, I'm not knocking people that just go to the gym or anything like this, like, but people go to the job, go to the gym, go home and they just watch Netflix. Like you probably have a smartphone. Like just for the fun of it, go recreate one of the things you're watching on Netflix. Like just with who's ever in your house, just for the lols. Like your favorite episode of The Office, just redo it, or even better, make your own episode of The Office. Like one thing that kind of grinds my gears a little bit is people pay like $1,500 for a device that is literally like an absolute media center. Between it's got great microphones, cameras, apps, editing software, all this other stuff, and like people just, and I'm not knocking selfies, okay, just like, but that's like people spend $1,500 to go on social media and take a selfie. Like, stop that. Like, either don't spend $1,500 on that, or use your phone like for all this crazy ass shit that's in there. Like you can create fucking an album of music on your phone. Like it doesn't have to be, and this is the thing as well, like standards, like don't compare yourself to the best of the best like in a detrimental way. Like nobody's a black belt. Like you don't just walk into something. Okay, some people do. Some people get lucky, or some people just have this really natural, like, sway towards something. But generally, things take work. Again, the gym is an example. It takes a while to start seeing that difference. It's the same in anything. Like, I've been afraid of instruments my entire life, and I've toured bands around the world. I've ran festivals like across the city that I've created from scratch and directed. I've worked in pretty much every type of job role, from sound engineering to lighting design to stage managing to, like, I've been putting bands and theater shows on, and art exhibitions and DJs. I DJ'd on, like, for years, but it wasn't an instrument, which was my first love in music. And I'm now tipping 30, and it was only a year ago I started making music for the first time. And I fucking love it. And I'm like, why didn't I do this before? Because of the bullshit that I kept going in my head, because I was comparing myself to the people I surrounded myself with. And I was picking my favorite bands to put on shows with, and these are friends of mine. But, like, they're playing the guitar or whatever instrument for, like, 5, 10, 15, sometimes even like 20 to 30 years. Like, of course you're not going to be as good as these people. Like, and if you're fascinated by this, and your feeds on your, like, social media is just like the best of the best, and it's like, these people are there for a reason. Like, just, you're not a black belt automatically. Just go easy on yourself. Give yourself time. Fucking Rome wasn't built in a day. Like, you know what I mean? Like, good shit takes time. Yes, there's some flukes out there. Yes, there's some fucking crazy ass situations. But, like, majority, like, of the time, that's not going to be the case for everybody. Otherwise, you'd be there by now. Like, no duh. So, like, go easy on yourself. But then be hard on yourself. Like, fucking light that fire under your own ass, because guess what, like, nobody else is really gonna do it for you, you know what I mean? Like, it's up to you to do it. Like, and you could just be wasting your time fucking, like, again, I'm a huge, like, I'm a film buff, and TV is, like, shot into a whole new stratosphere, excuse me, lately, and I'm a big fan of that, like, all of it. But it's not something, like, your life shouldn't just be watching TV or watching others be creative and this and that and the other, and having no creative output yourself. But also note, like, creativity comes in different art forms. Like, I say this and I'm kind of like, so for me, I'm doing a thing at the moment called, like, I'm after recently coming out as trans. This is why this is on. This is why I have this makeup on, for anybody just watching this video randomly. My Patreon is called Saturn's Reconstructive Art, and I'm trying to do all the art that I just haven't done over the years. Like, I haven't really put out. I've spent the last 15 years putting other people on stages instead of really caring about my own stuff. And instead of just doing some of that and some of my own, I just did all of that. Now, don't get me wrong. There's creativity in curation and the things that I did. Like, my lighting design was still fucking creative as fuck at the best of times. But it was still kind of like, I didn't just, like, you didn't come to Dean's lighting exhibit. Oh, see, Dean, there's my old name. Like, whatever. It's like, well, I suppose that's when I'm doing lights. I haven't actually done lights as Saturn, so however. But, like, yeah, so there you go. It's like, you haven't, like, it's one or two of my friends might have come to, like, I've done some shows for big bands, and I remember, like, I don't know, they're not really big over in North America, but they're really big back home in Europe and the UK. It's like Enter Shikari, and I definitely brought down one or two of my mates and, like, look, I'm after working really hard in the last, like, I had like 2 days to build this show, and I was like, I want you guys to come and see it, and, like, you know, and they did, and they fucking loved it, and it's like, and that was awesome. But, like, realistically, like, all those lights and things I did were for the bands and for their fans. It was like, I enjoyed the hell out of it, but, like, it wasn't in the same regard as, like, here's a song I made, or here's a poem I made. Like, I've been writing poems and songs my entire life, but I haven't been putting them out there. And that's like, don't be afraid to just put things out there. Like, do it, and, like, get some criticism. Like, but, like, maybe maybe announce the level of criticism you want before you get it, but like putting it out there and sharing with people, like they'll give you feedback. Most people are just gonna go, oh, that's great, and that's no help to you, trust me. Like, if you ask someone for actual feedback and to break it down if that's what you want, like, you'll also, by doing that, for me, when I share something or a song with somebody or I send it to them, I'll listen back to that song and be like, and then I'll picture me being my friend and what I know of them and them listening to it, whether I'm listening to it with there or not. And then that gives me a different perspective on the song I just sent them. So, like, share your stuff. Like, you will progress. You'll see it differently yourself. Feedback is good. Like, and it just adds to the juices of it all, you know? And like, you know what? Like, fuck the haters. Someone's always gonna say it's shit or blah, blah, blah. Like, trust me, if you're aiming for something and a friend knows what you're aiming for, and if they come along and we're like, look, this is shit. Just scrap it, throw it in the bin, and start again. They have your best interest at heart. If they see your end goal and they know what you're going for, and they're nice enough to be honest enough to tell you to scrap this thing, and you could have spent, like, this could have been the most amount of time you put into any self-expressive project that you've ever had. So trust me, your friend does not want to tell you it sucks. They do not want to do that. But if they care enough and they know you have an end goal and you're aiming for something, they're being honest with you and they fucking care. And it sucks all around. But guess what? If you're aiming for something and you got so caught up in your own confirmation biasness about this project, and you know, you might know it there then, but if you step back and in 3 months, 4 months, a year down the line, you're like, damn, I'm so glad they told me this because I'm after redoing it and now it's exactly what I want, and that was a pile of shite, you know? Like, here's an example of something that's after springing to mind. So I worked with a lot of bands and did these things, like kind of management advice, different stuff along the way, and kind of like worked with bands. So there's this band that played loads of shows and everybody would always tell them it was great. And the thing was, they didn't always say it was great. They're like, they hated the singer's fucking vocals and they loved everything else about it. Singer also played guitar. So one day I was like, dude, here's the 411. And I told him what's up. Now, if he just had sang in that band, completely different story. My approach and even approaching might have been completely different. But the fact that he was still like the lead guitarist in the band, or a rhythm guitarist, can't remember what, he was playing guitar anyway. He wasn't going to be out of the band because he wasn't singing anymore. I told him what was up. He fucking hated me for months and months and months. And then whatever in this process along the way, he stopped singing. The band got like so much better, got so much more recognition, like built up much more of a bigger fan base. And like months later, he came up to me and he's like, I want to thank you because you're the only person that said that to me. And we're much better off for it, like, you know, and the band's better. And I like, and he's like, you're the only one that did it. And I'm sorry for being a dick to you. And I'm like, dude, I totally get it. Like, don't worry. I'm just glad you're happy now. You know, I didn't do it. Like, I said it to him for him because I seen what they were going for. You know, you talk about it. They would talk about it. And it's like, and they just, you know, singing's also hard. Like, but he was a great guitarist. And like I said, they became better. But like, anyway, that's ongoing. Like, and this is the thing, it's like, not that that's necessarily a mistake, or like it was a mistake that they were making, but it's like, there's a wise kind of like phrasing came to me before. It's like, it's not a mistake if you learn from it. And that's so true. Like, just like expect to fail. If you don't expect that, like, you think you're just gonna get away without failing, get out of here. Like, you're gonna fail time and time and time again, and like, but you're gonna learn from it. And that's what learning is. Learning is failing. Learning is making mistakes. Like, it's just this like fucking flawless fluidity. Like, these moments happen of flawless fluidity. Like, you have to learn your graft, you know what I mean? Like, fuck, man. Like, black belt is definitely the best. Like, you walk into a fucking any sort of like MMA or a jiu-jitsu class or whatever your fucking like take on life is, and you're not gonna go up against a black belt straight away. Like, don't be a fucking idiot. Like, that shit, that fucker's been at this for years. Like, they will end your life. Like, and if you want a fucking more passive fucking version of that, like, think about making a fucking pancake. Even if you just make pancakes once a year, like, which is still silly because we all fucking love pancakes. We're only saving them for once a year because, like, Hallmark practically told us so. Make more pancakes, people. They're fucking tasty. You all love them. Like, but even, you could be making pancakes, and it's like, especially the first time you make pancakes, or you go back to making pancakes again. The first one's, like, not that great. And then, like, a couple of pancakes in, bam, you're flipping pancakes like a fucking master. Or you've changed up the fucking thing, like, the consistency or the, like, the ratio or something that goes in there, and your pancakes are great. Like, you know, it happens. Like, people put out music. It's weird. Like, they say some bands make this cracker first album, and then other bands, it's like album round 3. There's a million things that go on in life that just remember, you're different. Everybody's different. Everything's gonna come in different shapes or forms or whatever. Like, what else? What's in my notes? Being sober versus being fucked is bullshit. I'm not saying it doesn't help, but, like, we are highly, highly convinced as people, or especially you, I'm going to give, this is more directed towards the artists that need drink and all this to be, like, good and creative and all this bollocks. Like, look, one of my favorite writers in the world is Bukowski. Self-claimed that he could not write unless he was fucked. Like, this is just, like, it's bullshit. Like, it really is. I've been off drink and, like, basically, like, I smoked some weed, and even at that, I haven't smoked weed in fucking weeks, and I have so much to show for it. And stuff that I wouldn't do for years and years and years. So, like, drink is bullshit. Like, that you need this drink to be creative. Like, it's in here. The only thing that's stopping you from doing that is in here beforehand, because you're used to it. We grow up with a can in our hands from the age of, like, 14 on average. So when you start actually being creative and doing things in your teenage years, chances are you're drinking with it, or you're doing this, and you fucking, this self-prescription that you've made that you need this A plus B equals, like, creativity. Lies. Self-lies. And you gotta check yourself in on that. Like, ex-functioning alcoholic here, by far. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that they don't combine well either. But the idea that you need it is bullshit, and you gotta go check yourself, okay? Like, you know, it's like, because, you're in for a funny one now if this, like, COVID thing keeps going, and you've no access to this stuff. Like, your own psyche has already destroyed you. Just, nip it in the bud now. Like, realize that, yes, like, it's fun to do both. But, like, if you look at some of the best, like the days of, like, Motley Crue and all that are over. But, like, a lot of those bands, like, let's be real, like, I'm not knocking any of their music, but, like, they're doing the same thing day in, day out. Like, they have it zoned in. They can do it fucked. Like, I'm telling you now for a fact, it's like, there's a couple of things I could do, like, literally, like, blackout, because it's so built in, it's ingrained, it's second nature. Like, but the creativity aspect of it, like, it's in here. You're just gotta fucking reconfigure this, guys. Like, it's a myth. They do work, but it's a myth. You don't need one to do the other. And, like, the facto. And there's a lot of bands I don't know. Look, I'm not even gonna get into that right now. It's fact, okay? Just, like, look after yourselves, look after your minds. Stop lying to yourselves. It's self-fabricated lies built by society, built by self-conditioning. Like, break free. Like, you can do it. What else is on my list? Did that. So be inspired. Go collaborate with other people. Same as sharing your work. Like, go to other shows. Like, just do, like, collaborate with people. Go do things. Go take some inspiration. Like, again, what came first, creativity or the rose? Like, so much, like, it's really hard. Like, everything is a remix in theory. It's very hard to be, like, absolutely 100,000% original because of the world we live in. So, like, don't absolutely fucking kick yourself in the teeth for, like, drawing inspiration or anything. Like, draw inspiration from everything. All the greats will tell you that something inspired them, or they inspired this or whatever. And then there's something that, yeah, I did just pull that out of the air one day. I was mad, but, like, it's like, chances are then somebody also pulled that one thing out of the air on the other side of the world. Like, fucking isn't, like, there's so much shit, I can't think of the name for it, but, like, when stuff happens, like, in certain parts of the world at similar times, but there's absolutely no connection, like, it does happen, and that's, like, time and place in the world, and how the world turns itself. Like, it's not, like, unheard of. So, like, don't be worried about, like, drawing inspiration or, like, taking something, because then that can lead on to something else, and you can create more of your own style and different things. It's like, I mean, sure, like, that's like you could really boil it down to, like, you can't make music because I started making music. Are you saying hi? This is Mountain Beauty. Meow. Say hi. You want your cuddles? Come on, in here. Go on, settle down. You gonna get cozy? What are you looking for? So yeah, just, like, I mean, don't rip shit off other people. Like, I mean, like, don't literally rip people off. And don't be a fake. Like, I mean, again, with this whole, like, with your creative output, it depends what you're going for. Like, I don't know, if you want to just make something creative that makes you loads of money so you can do creativity all the time, that's fine. But be honest about it. Like, I hate this whole, like, pretending to be real and not fake when you're trying to just, like, be famous or make money off the thing that you're doing that's creative. Like, it's 100% okay to make money off being creative and make a living off it. Just be honest. That's all. Like there's a certain amount of facade that needs to come. Like if you want to be an entertainer, be an entertainer. Like, it's still within your realm, and chances are you'll actually probably gain more respect from people that don't respect fake liars. So it's a weird one, but then it's like, because otherwise you're manipulating people and you're using them. So anyway, I'm not going to go on about that one. Just don't be a fake and be honest. But yeah, support others. Like, you know, just on that note, like, support other people in their creativity. Like, again, that's coming back to, like, be honest with people as well. Like, don't just sink somebody for the sake of sinking them, but, like, assess the situation, assess the creativity, and, like, don't just run your mouth whenever it needs be, but, like, try, even if it's negative, at least have a positive outlook within the negative that you have to share with somebody. Like, just don't be an asshole. Don't be fake, be honest, and don't be an asshole. Whatever. I'm sure I'll rephrase these things to be better later on. But yeah, I mean, pull that thumb out of your ass. I mean, the finger's better up there anyway, so, like, fucking get the thumb out, like, and just go and work on something. Like, just don't make a million excuses for yourself. Find your own thing after a while that, like, you'll find your own flow and method of madness, and that will also change. It'll change as you get older, and as your output changes or grows, or you grow within that. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, you could be a bedroom artist one day, and in 6 months' time you're touring the world. Like, fuck, man. It's like, you know, it's some crazy things can happen to people. talk to people. Like, honestly, this is like, this people are usually like, people are awesome, and they're usually willing to share their advice, or like, more importantly, like, don't do this, don't do that, this fucked me up, or blah blah blah, like bad habits and different things. Like, I know it sounds so funny, but there's sometimes like and as great as internet tutorials can be, internet tutorials aren't going to tell you about your bad habits. So I am a firm believer that you should check in with somebody in any artistic form or medium at any point. Example, I was doing little drum lessons for a while. If I'm doing this, do it on the YouTube, and I'm like, bah, 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 yeah, doing it, bam, bam, whatever. This that is like the worst like attempt at some air drumming. Anyway, you get the picture. But what I was doing was this, and I didn't know. So has anybody caught that? Yeah, my little pinky, like, out there. But tutorial video wasn't going to tell me to like undo that, but my buddy did, and he copped it. So now look, I haven't stuck with playing the drums, but if I, well, I don't know, I have my little sticks and I play on my pad every so often. I enjoy it. Whatever. I don't have a drum kit or do anything like that, or have I'd love one. Who knows? Anyway, one day, soon, when this place gets sorted and the studio's built, there's a drum kit going in there, and I'm gonna have a fucking time of my life, baby. But this, if he didn't point that out and say if I stuck persistently with drumming, and that was like, I'm gonna say 6 years ago, maybe less, 5 years ago, just let's round it off on a nice 5. If I'd been playing drums for the last 5 years and I didn't notice this, and I started advancing, you start using your fingers differently on the sticks, which is what he told me, or I'd have years of then having to retrain my finger to do this, because that's how the fucking mind and body works. Like, you get into that, and it's like, playing drums, and it's like, shit, you've been doing this for 3 years, so then you have to, like, undo this, and that's, like, that's really gonna fuck shit up. So, talk to people. Like, take their advice. Like, even if it hurts a little bit and it stings, chances are they mean well and they want you to progress and do better. So, definitely mingle and chat with people. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what else if I can say on this. This is like, definitely didn't think this was going to go on for like 45 minutes. Having a quick peek at my notes. I think that's everything. Like, just go for it. Like, honestly, just go for it. Like, in my prolific, like, attempt at just doing shit, not quite in, like, within the previous year, and just being like, hey, I'm doing this, and this is me doing this, and it's like, and showing my failed attempts, or like, here's a song I made, but it's like not perfect, and it's like, you know, and that has inspired a handful of people, and like, that handful of people within 1 year is fucking awesome. Like, I'm not saying this for self-credit and just like trying to say that by just doing it, I inspired other people to just do it. So like, and that's fact. So if my just doing can inspire other people to just do, then you can too. Okay? And sorry for the shit fucking poetic ending on that, but it's the truth. So believe in yourself and just fucking pull the finger out, and you'll be happier for it. So, on that note, more than happy to do any more talks. Throw shit in the comments below. Subscribe to my channel. I have lots of other shit going on in there. Have a rummage around. If you want to support what I'm doing in these talks, fucking get onto my Patreon. And yeah, whatever, my Instagram as well. I have lots of fun on my story, as I like to say. And lots more with this little meow. Anyway, toodles. Peace.